Introducing the Hind Caulk Feather shoe for the American Farriers Convention, Mustad Specialty Forging. So we're going to make the shoe. We're going to build a recipe to make this. So I'm going to build pieces. I'm going to build my wedge. I'm going to bump my toe. I'm going to forge my heel and trailer. Then I'm going to go back and go about my normal shoemaking process. So let's get going. In this first operation, we're going to bump the inside heel. What's really important is we heat the same distance constantly, and then we bump up the same amount. So my plan is heat about 2.5 inches, bump up 3/4 of an inch. What's really important about bumping is we keep it straight, so the material's going in. And it's my left hand that's really important in this. You see, my material doesn't move much when I'm bumping. I'm really focused on keeping it on the anvil. No energy is lost. Oh, we got one heat. We'll check it. So that is 3/4 of an inch. I place it on the anvil, and I'm going to mark the center, 5/8 of an inch off center. I know it's a left, so I put my outside of heel away from me. I know the marks will be on the left side of the steel. So let's make it a bit easier by sliding the ruler. 6, 5/8. Stop shaking, Grant. Okay. So our next step is to bump 1/2 inch into the toe. Again, it's really important that we keep the material straight, and we want the bump to come to the outside of the toe. We don't want the bump to the inside, or when you bend it, it wads up. So it's really important that the bump goes to one side of center, and it's the outside of center. So I'm going to bump up, and my bumps tend to go to my left. So I know that, and I do my center mark appropriately. I'll thin the inside edge down a little bit. Make sure my bump's going where I want it, to the outside. When you thin down the inside edge, don't leave any hammer marks. It's an invisible transition. Again, most important tool, the ruler. So that should be down to about 11 1/4. And it's just over 11 1/4, but that's okay. It's always keeping a record of the measurements. So that's the point of practicing. It's the refinement of your measurements. It's not just the refinement of the forging. It's the refinement of the measurements so that you're getting the shoe size correct the closer you get to the competition. So for me, I keep all my measurements. So next step is to bend the toe. When we bend the toe, we think about what shape we want. Well, it's a toe clip fit. So it's going to be slightly less broad, so a slightly rounder toe, a little bit more pointed. So we think about the shape. We make what we want. We don't just bend the middle of the steel. So I've localized my heat just a little bit to make my toe bend easier. And little light overlapping blows just make a nice radius. Don't tighten it up too much. Not yet. We can tighten it up over the horn. Tighten up the outside side. And it really is my left hand that does all this work. Okay? It's the strength in my left arm. You can see it's a resistance. My arm doesn't hardly move. I'll level the toe. Nice overlapping blows. Put a polish on it. And we got our toe bend. Now I won't mark my fullering at this point, because if something goes wrong later with my branches, I'm overcommitted. So I'll mark my fullering once I got my branch bent, the first branch bent. So next step is to put the the trailer and the heel cork on. Now, I mark it at about 1 1/8 inches. That's a measurement right now. Let's just double check that. Yeah, 1 1/8. And so now I got a place where I'm going to line it up on the horn. I'm going to bend it over the horn because I want a very soft bend. If I do the edge of the anvil, because my edge of the anvil is square, it's going to cause a cut. So I want to put a soft bend in this right now. And I'll bend it out to about 45 degrees. Put my mark on the anvil. I bend out my trailer. That gives me a nice soft curve. I'll draw my trailer out a little bit. And now we're going to bend our heel over. It's just a little bit too cold, but we've got a soft radius and we've got our trailer. I haven't made it thinner. I'm leaving the material there so I can set it down after to clean up the front of my heel cork. We've got our heel cork. We'll bend about 3/4 of the trailer over. Now, I'll just roll that forward a little bit. Square it up. It's not a very big heel cork. Straighten the branch a little bit. I'll straighten the branch here, down to my heel cork, but don't take away our corner. Don't forget to work all the surfaces of the heel cork. Tapering it back. We can see the shape of our trailer happening now. Just needs to get a bit longer, but we've got the thickness so we can forge it down. Find a rounder spit of the anvil. Just working the whole branch a little bit. I know I need that little bit of extra length. Clean up the heel cork, polishing it. And we've got nice clean lines coming onto the heel cork. I'll hem the steel because I can right now while it's at this working temperature, cold working temperature, but it puts a nice finish on it. When I'm careful, I get the front of the heel cork in line with the edge of the anvil. I don't turn it. So I keep a nice clean line on the front of my heel cork so I don't have much rasping. Now there you are, 2 heats. We've got our heel cork and we've got our trailer. So now I'll forge up the inside branch. Okay, think about bringing it together, getting it to taper just a little bit, and building height for the feather. Start tapering my branch, bringing my wedge up, nicely tapered, giving me height, lifting to its center. Forge the end of the heel on. A little bit more taper. Safing it as it comes to the end. The feather's normally safe. Flat, and then we have a sharp, so it's a sharp transition into the feather. I'll put it there, I'll just give it a little bit of a set down, give me a clean spot to forge from. I'll hem it while I'm here, it's a good temperature for that. And there we have our basic shoe ready for making. I've got my outside heel done, my inside heel done, so now it's back to my routine. I'll go back to the outside, bend the shoe. Now the only thing I'll do different is I'll just localize the heat on the end of the heel just a little bit so I can hit against the heel cork to get that heel quarter to bend. Shape my heel quarter, I'll hit my heel now. Get the shape coming. Right up to the corner. Just clean up the edges, hemming it a little bit at the same time. I'll mark my fullering. And don't mark it too deeply. You can always change if you make a mistake then. So I don't go too deep the first run there. I just made a little mistake there, so I'll go back and I'll correct it. You won't even see it when it's finished. What I should have done is marked my toe, so I know where I'm going to come to. So let's go through one more time to confirm it. And I always take my time with that last bit. Make sure I get it into the corner. I don't rush that last hit. It's a feature. And I make sure it's correct. So there we got our fullering marked and started. Now the next stage is to get it finished. So I'll take it down to just over 50%. Then I'll work my outside edge. I'll work the edge of the shoe, the garniture. I'll flatten the hoof side, flatten the ground side, fuller it to 100%, so it'll take a 4. And I'm using my standard fuller for that. And then I'll stamp it, level it, stamp it, pritchel it, level it, pritchel it. That will be for my Mustad E4. So I fullered just over 50% finished. And I prefer to overlap my fuller a lot. That keeps the finish in it. I can hit it really hard and then it widens too much and it widens the section. I want it to go into the section slowly. I'll work the outside edge. Work the garniture. Flatten it on the hoof side. Now, it's not how hard you hit it. My hammer blow is not leaving the face of the anvil very far, but it's a very firm blow that gives you a polish. And so my hammer blow, I'm not trying to squash the material, I'm trying to flatten the material. And that's what gives me this finish as I'm going along. You can see there, just doing that gives me a really good finish. Now I fuller it to 100%. So again, lots of overlap. See the shine coming. Got my shine there. Now I'll take my stamp and I'll stamp it. I always give it a level. So I can see the position of my nail holes for coarseness, just in case I got to pitch them a little bit more or pitch them a little bit less. I stamp it one last time to take them to the anvil, but not into the anvil. So that really compacts the nail hole. And we can see that I did all that work in one heat, and the nail holes are coming out quite easy. Well, I'll level it. And we can see we haven't wire brushed it, but we've got a really clean finish. So now we're on to the inside branch. I'll bend the branch, I'll hem it, mark my fullering, fuller it to 50%, work the outside edge, work the garniture, flatten the hoof side, flatten the ground side, fuller it to 100%. It's my recipe, okay? We all need a recipe, a method. And if you're arbitrary with your method, you just skip in and out of method, you're not going to get a consistent result. If something goes wrong, I'll break my method just a little bit to fix something, and then I go back to my method. I tighten up my toe quarter, bend my branch, and you can see my tongue position is facing where the heel wants to go. So then I didn't have to move very much. Got my shape, a little flatten, just flatten it both ways to get the transition right there in the quarter. I'll hem it, just clean up the hemming. And now I'll mark it. I'm always careful right there with that one, making sure my hammer blow is exact, and then take it down from there, going back to the heel. Get it to sink in consistently. Adjust your hammer blow depending on the temperature. So if it's a bit hotter somewhere, lighten up. If it's a bit colder, hit it a little bit harder. We're almost to our 50% point. We'll work the outside edge next. Like, what's the frog eye edge? Clean that up. No hammer marks. Just make it really nice and clean. It'll save you rasping. Work the garniture. Flatten the hoof side. When you see my hammer's not coming, but it's a firm blow that's on the surface. And that's what polishes it. Firm blow on the surface. What's really important now is we don't overheat it when we do the next step. We've only got to finish the fullering and stamp the hole. So if we take a full heat, we're going to end up having it too hot to do the work, and we're going to do more damage than good. So if you're in the competition at this point, just put it in the fire and don't switch the fire on, and it'll get hot enough to be for the next step. So it's alternating heats, and it's being smart with your heats. It's not just bringing that up to bright orange and you're not going to get it's going to be over ready. There's no fuller, not too hard because the fullering's nearly finished. Thinking about the width of the fullering to fit the size of the nail. You can see firm but light, and that's putting the shine on it. Nail holes. Level it. Check the coarseness. Yeah. Yep, we're about 1/8 too long, but I can get that off the heel cork. And we're about 1/8 too wide. So what I'll do next time is I'll put another 1/4 of an inch in the toe. So my balance is good, but my shoes are a hair too long. So what I'll do is I'll adjust my toe bump, and my toe bump will get the extra 1/4 of an inch, which is the 1/8 of each branch, and that's perfect for what I want. So last step to clip it. Take my time, it's my weakness, clipping, so I hit into the corner, creating a source. Little level, you can see my material's there. Set the material, then make my base, and then I come up the middle and I make my clip. And if I put little marks in it, I flatten it, and then I come up again to get the height I want. And I flatten it to get my little marks out of it. I don't leave the marks in it. Okay, and now we're ready for rasping. So we'll just have a couple of heats to rasp it up. Okay, back, check the level. We'll give it a clean up. It needs wire brushing now. Nice shine on it. I don't put too much wire brushing along the way because I'm going to rasp it up anyway. If it was a hammer finish here, it would be different. I put a lot more work with the wire brush as I went. But I'm going to rasp all the surfaces anyway, so. I wire brush along the way to keep the surfaces clean so they don't build up scale. So there we've got our Caulk Feather, Mustad E4 Nails. We've got to refine the process a little bit, but I've built my process. Is refine the process. put exact numbers to the bumps, an exact number to the offset, but I'm pretty close there. I'm quite happy with the shoe. So we'll just adapt it next time, a little bit more bump in the toe. We'll keep writing that down, adapting till the day of the competition when our numbers, we don't even need to look at our numbers, we know our numbers. So, look forward to seeing you at the American Farriers Convention. So, maybe I'll get round to the competition this year. I'm really looking forward to it. I missed it last year.